Thank you.
Okay, let me share my screen. Naveen, you are there?
Yeah, I can see your screen. Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Yes, I think this is.
If possible, can you keep in the presentation format?
Yeah.
And the top, you can see like stop sharing screen, right? There is a hide button. If you can click on that, that would be great, actually.
Right.
There is a hide button, right? If you can click on that, that would be great. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep. Yes. So S4HANA revenue accounting and reporting. Okay. This is a module which is a part of the S4HANA finance. And this is one of the sub-module within S4HANA finance. But it's a small module, but it's really, really bit complicated if you don't have a bit background of revenue accounting and reporting. So in the agenda, what we want to cover as a part of training is, you can see here, standard IFRS 15 standard revenue accounting reporting. We have to comply as per the IFRS 15, and this is completely IFRS 15 is something which is given by the International Financial Reporting Standard. That there is a board. They are the one who drafted this standard, and it is applicable to all the major companies right from the 2018. That means we are already past 2018. So most of the companies would have implemented by 2018. Maybe they would have implemented the very old version of the RAR. Maybe now they might be going for the optimizer, contract manager, or advanced versions, whatever has come within the RAR. Yeah. So first one is completely standard. Okay, this is not something SAP won't be giving. This is as per IFRS standard. Next one is RAR architecture. Architecture means how SAP is designed to meet the expectation of the IFRS. This is nothing but the RAR architecture. So what this contains is, when we go to that slides, we can I will explain you in this very simple format what is the RAR architecture. Okay, so RAR architecture means like where the customer contracts will be created, what is the origin system, how the data will flow into the RAR, and how RAR engine will recognize the revenue as per IFRS standard, and then it posts. That's all contain the architecture, end-to-end design. Okay, and then integration with sender components. So integration with sender means what here? So from where we get the data into RAR. RAR is nothing but it has to recognize revenue as per standard, and it has to report both. But we also RAR is a dependent system. On its own, it cannot generate any data. So from source system, how the data is integrated into RAR. It's about this one. This is also part of this architecture. Okay. And then inbound processing. Inbound processing, nothing but how the, like say, origin system or the order system. We call it a simple order system. From order, how we get this data into RAR. Inbound processing is how the data is coming into the RAR. This is inside the RAR. There is an architecture behind this one. There are some rules how it has to process. Next. Yeah. And then we have this BRF plus overview. This is very important in RAR, where we have a we define the accounting rules, we define the what should be the POB and other rules. It completely, it's a bit of technical and functional knowledge. It is okay. So this is completely RAR stuff. Contract management. So after we get data into RAR, then how RAR will process the contracts. What is a contract management means? It will process, and then when we get modification, how it modifies the existing contract, how we cancel it, how we finally process that into FIGL. So completely, it's doesn't go FIGL, but it's all about while creating the contract. Contract management contains creation of the RAR contract and performance obligations and the subsequent processes. And then, and whenever we get update, how does the RAR contract management handles those modifications to the existing contracts? All those topics we cover under the contract management. Price allocation. This is very important part of it. In fact, if you ask me why we had this SAP RAR module as a separate module is because of this price allocation. So it is a core of it. Okay, SAP RAR engine, how it allocates the price against each POP. It's a very interesting topic, also very important topic. And then changes. It's the same. It's also part of this contract management. Whenever we get changes to the, once we create contract, in future, whenever there is a modifications, how SAP will, RAR will handle those modifications. So this is first, all this topic is about the IFRS, related to the revenue one. So, okay, next to fulfillment invoice. So this is a topic related to the order system. After orders are created, how do we get this fulfillment? And how SAP RAR will process this fulfillment. And this invoices is from the order system. Whenever invoice is created, how RAR processes these invoices. There is a concept behind it. Also, we need to learn bit of accounting entries. And finally, the FIGL postings. When everything is done, finally we post it to the accounting. Finally, FIGL. That's where it will go to the actual general ledger, main general ledger. And then further, we have some SAP given standard reports, as well as we can see what are the IFRS required reports. Basically, IFRS required reports, as well as some reconciliation report between RAR and the source system. There are some reports that we can see in Fury. This is about agenda. Any questions? Are you expecting more than this? This is the agenda.
This is good. Yashika, I did want to know, I know you mentioned that the BRF side is the side where we would cover some technical aspect of it. Is that the only place where we would, or is there anything else we would need to cover to know more from the technical side if there is any customization needed?
Yes. So, Naveen, we didn't include this configuration. So we have a configuration. So our RAR configuration is very small, but we also have a lot of this business add-ins, right? So you are from technical background. You might be knowing SAP has given a lot of points where you can modify the data as per your requirement. That's also there, but we will cover it as a part of configuration. So that's along with BRF Plus, we have a configurations. That's the thing. Configuration is it's basically a standard SAP functional configuration, but there also we have a bit of technical stuff. We can go through that one.
Okay, thank you.
That's our system. Okay, so we can go through. Vince, you have any questions?
No, all good for
Or
me.
you are
This is
expecting?
awesome. Yeah, this is great, Yashika.
Okay. Yeah. So revenue complexities resulting in issues. So past, if you are got an idea how revenue was recognized before IFRS. So why is that IFRS board has to come up with a standard? This is a bit of background. So internationally, there are big organizations, right? They want to compare the results between the competitors. Say one telecom company in the same region with another company, they want to compare the performance. Like I invest in, so I want to compare the performance of the two. So, but how do I know it? Each one is recognizing revenue on their own. We never know what is that one. So I don't know if I am also from accounting background. I know it in depth at the month end, how they inflate it to show the more, how they deflate it, whatever they required. So that's why IFRS is given a standard way of recognition. So this is a bit of background here. So, and second thing is, you might be knowing nowadays everything is sold as a bundle. It means that standard example what we take here is okay, telephone you buy and as well as the service. But not only that one, we can expand and include any service you buy today. For example, you buy the printer and then ink is given as a free for 12 months cartridge, or you take any service. Suchi, if you are from India, you know the Drink Prime, right? There is on water purifier. You just take on subscription, and then they will also do service. They will also give product, and they will also take care. That means they sell you with one single price, but there are multiple services, product and services included, and one price is given to customer. So that's why if we have to compare the product and the service of the one company with product and the service of another company, then we need to break it down. So actually we'll take it that in the next sessions. Okay. So before IFRS, everyone were recognizing as per their own as per the gap. Okay, so there was no way we can compare the performance of one company with other. This is the background of that one. So because of this, there lead to reporting inconsistency, incomparability. So if you ask me why we have to compare, we have to compare because I'm an investor. So I want to know performance of the say Vodafone with the Verizon or some Geo or some telecom company. So how do I compare which company is doing better, who is doing better? Or we want to compare the you can compare any company, right, in that industry group. You can take telecom industry, you can take manufacturing, you can take anything. You are planning to invest in those companies, but you are trying to see who is doing better. So if everybody doesn't report as per the standard, then on their own they're reporting. We never know who is doing better. This is best. That's why they're leading to inconsistencies and incomparability. Okay, this is a bit of background. So this will help in a. Of course, it doesn't help, but it help you to know why this standard was brought in. So applicability. So, all you have to remember here. So company earns a revenue basically by selling goods or services. That's our main business, right? Apart from that, there are some other revenue company earns. Say for example, by in parking some money in the somewhere else, and they earn that interest income or dividends or anything other than their operating revenue is not covered by this IFRS. Simple. So for example, so if any manufacturing industry you take, so our HP, let's take example of HP. So if let Packard or Dell, anything. So their main business is manufacturing laptops, or they're buying and selling laptops and the customer service. Apart from that, if they are giving any earning revenue by some other way, then this is not covered as per this IFRS. That means, how do we know that one? So inside our organization, whichever project you are working, they have to tell you. Okay, but keep in mind that only the standard contracts with customers, a generic one. Okay, like creating customer orders and then selling it. Only those are included. Other things are not included. You may get confused. Interest income, insurance contract, leasing is covered by separate. And then interest, company has earned extra money via stock trading, although it doesn't come here. So where does they go? They are directly, they don't come into S4HANA RAR module as IFRS, but they are directly recognized in the accounting directly. Okay, so they won't go anywhere. At least for now, we can ignore that one. So this is a bit of history. It's a long history. So from 2018 onwards, it is applicable. On 18. By then, by now, every organization, whoever has to comply with IFRS would have already gone live. If they are using SAP or not, but they would be complying with IFRS, maybe manually, maybe using legacy tools, or maybe S4 SAP. It can be anything. Okay. So it's IFRS doesn't mean that always we have to use SAP. So they can use anything. So here technology is not a binding factor. They can do in Excel sheet. And first, while filing, they have to file as per IFRS requirement. Existing approaches. Existing approaches means how without RAR, how we were doing it. Okay, customer places order with us, we create a sales order, okay, service order, and then we deliver the goods to the customer, and straight it is. Okay, for example, they may place a $1 million order, we deliver $1 million order, we just recognize $1 million, that's it. It's a straightforward. So we used to recognize based on the goods issue, proof of delivery, whatever it is, just very straightforward recognition. Okay, so it is not relevant, it's not as per the IFRS. Okay, as per the billing, whenever we do billing, whenever we issue goods, that's it, we will recognize revenue. It's a very straightforward. Make to order, it's whatever it is, percentage of completion. Professional. This is mainly the service contract, long-term contracts, say IT projects. So if company, like we do a lot of IT projects, right, or construction project, their duration span over years, and they are not even time bound. They are actually the completion bound. Say 10 floors building, 3 floors, every 2 floors, they will do the billing of 20% complete, 10% complete. Then on that month, whatever is completed, recognize the revenue. So that was a traditional revenue. Existing approaches. So if you see the previous slide, we talked about sales order, right? So in SAP, if we are using SAP, then we normally ESD is a module where sales orders are created. So we, in a short, we call it as a, if we are not using SAP RAR, it means you are recognizing revenue based on the SD revenue recognition, means that based on the sales order. Okay, so, oh, sorry. Based on the sales order. This sales order is nothing but it comes from the SD module. This is called as a SD based revenue recognition. So as soon as we create, we issue the goods, we recognize revenue or whatever it is, or proof of receipt. So that was, as I told you, that was leading to the reporting inconsistencies when you compare the results of the two companies. This is what we are saying. If they are using SAP, please know SD is not available in S4. Okay, so if legacy, for example, if a company, if a client is using is SAP, okay, and they were not into RAR, but they were using SD. Okay, SD is the order system, right? Order to create the sales orders, and they were recognizing as per the SD. That means revenue recognized based on the order. So once you move into the RAR as a module, then SD based recognition is something disabled by SAP. It has to disable. The reason is this is not as per the IFRS. If you are going complying with IFRS, this is not available. Okay, so you must migrate if you are already using it as a legacy. If a client is already in SAP, they have to, whatever they have created, they have to migrate into RAR before you upgrade it into S4HANA. This is something. So why we have to migrate? We have to do revenue recognition. No? Otherwise, so many sales order were created. Suddenly you are switching off when you go to RAR. Then what happens to the other orders? They are open. So we have to migrate it, means we have to bring it over to the RAR and then recognize into the SAP RAR. That's the migration. This is about a background. Okay, so what is this IFRS? IFRS 15. So IFRS 15 is, as I told you, it starts with it is applicable for the cases where company is having a contract with the customer. It's in a normal buying and selling scenarios. It is if we are into the any business, either goods, trading or services, anything. So we have a contract with the customer. It's a contract need not be written. You just say that okay, customer will place a order with us. First they will start with okay, telephone they call, okay, they inquire, and then they place a order. So they need not have be in a very written and binding format. Okay, contract can be written and binding, or it can be oral. I just call Suchi or Vince that okay, I need some 100 items. So I need one something. You can take example of a telephone we can use for ease of understanding. I just say that I want someone telephone. That's it. I don't have to create an order, if formal everything. And then for that, based on that sales order, you create it. That's it. That is enough for you to comply the IFRS. That's what it says. Identify the contract with customer. So this is what standard says. But in reality, big companies, so they won't do any oral business. They will have the contracts in a system. But finally, a contract is a contract that exists. There will be one number they create, and against that, whatever order is placed by customer, we keep delivering the goods and services, telephone, phone, and the data. We can use these two examples for ease of understanding. Okay, don't look okay, where is contract in SAP? You may find it, you may not find it. Okay. So identify the performance obligation. Okay, contract is what customer will place order for the goods and services. So what and all they are placing is called a performance obligation. That means company is obliged to perform that obligation. It means that if they place order for the phone, company is supposed to deliver that phone. They have to, and company, the customer is placing the data and the other service, they are supposed to deliver. So each of the service or the goods placed by customer, each one of it is called the performance obligation. Simple. Whatever customer is asking us to deliver the goods and service, all those are called the performance obligations. Okay, performance obligations are within this contract. Say contract is for customer XYZ, phone and data is the performance obligations. Okay, we should be able to identify it. Remember this one, identify. This is standard says you have a contract, identify it. Within contract, identify performance obligation. Yes, you have this too. Then what is the price? You cannot have any contract without price. This is the price with customer pays, transaction price. Simple, it's okay. Phone means $1,000. That's it. This is transaction price. Now you are selling phone, you are also selling the data. So we need to allocate the transaction price, this price, to the subsequent performance obligations. Whatever performance obligations are there, we have to allocate it. We have to allocate transaction price for all performance obligations. Say there are 2 or 3 or 4 and you have one price. Then we have to allocate it. All the 4 or 5 obligations are there. We have to allocate price for all the obligations. Once you allocate, then we have to recognize. This is our objective end. We have to recognize. So when we recognize, we just don't recognize as soon as we have order and phone. We have to, phone means we have to deliver. That means control of the goods has been, we lost the control, like we given the phone to customer over. We can recognize revenue because they have to pay money to us. That's a transaction happened. For example, order created, contract created, performance obligation. You have not done anything. After 6 months, you are going to deliver. Then don't recognize revenue because you have not done any performance. You didn't perform on that. Okay. Same time, services. Any service is there. Till you perform that service, don't recognize it. Once you perform, recognize. The term what they use is as soon as you satisfy. Satisfy means you have to deliver it to the customer. Okay, this is very important. Always you should remember. Frequently we use these terms. This customer contract or POB, performance obligation, we call in short POB. Okay, and the price allocations. How do we allocate is a very big topic. And then recognize revenue. Okay, so very nice. Identify the contract with customer. So if we say that identify contract, see, we from RAR sitting in SAP or KSA, we don't identify anything. Okay, this is nothing but the operational contract. That means customer would have placed a lot of contracts with the company. So okay, so we can okay, so those are the operational contracts. Usually, so these operational contracts are created in S4HANA, or there will be other systems which are connected to S4HANA. S4HANA is basically a transaction processing system at the end, but say order handling systems are there. So I can give example. You know this customer order handling platform applications. Normally in practically they are like GCSS, GC. There are many Microsoft Azure, some kind of applications they use. Okay, so their orders are created. Our example, for you have this phone, right? You go online and you order there, apple.com, hp.com. So wherever you order, so you order there front, right? You just go and you apply and order. So those are the application contracts. From backend, it will come to S4HANA. So never mind, this I'm trying to give you some additional information. So these operational contracts are nothing but first item, these customer has placed contracts, right? These are nothing but operational contracts. Okay, so the customer has placed 3-4 contracts, and we can combine into one revenue accounting contract. Okay, this is how do we combine this is completely up to the company. We can combine this based on the okay, what is RA, revenue accounting contract? It's a simple, it's a SAP way of aggregating all the operational contracts. Okay, so customer has placed 100 phones, assume that for their company employees. Okay, 100 phones and of one model, and maybe another model of phone, they place another contract for some other band of employees. Imagine that way. Okay, different contract they place it, but everything is under one. If we decide, okay, it's a customer is one, we have to deliver on same day, then we can combine into one RAR contract. Okay, so there is no such rule. SAP says that one. It's up to the users, company decisions, how they want to combine this operational contracts into revenue accounting contract. What is the rule we have to default? Default is if we have one operational contract, one RAR contract. That's the default rule. If you want to contain multiple, we can always contain. So if you don't know anything, just one sales order equal to one revenue accounting contract for one currency. That's a default accounting. So what does this contain? it just replicates the operational contracts into RAR. This contract is the one which contains all the POBs, and this is what we recognize revenue against each POB. Okay, so this is a contract. Identify contract with customer. Each contract will become one RAR contract. Okay, revenue accounting contract. So that is revenue accounting. You just have to remember this very well. So otherwise you will get confused. So once we create one customer order into one revenue accounting contract, that's some example. Then in that contract, say you have two POBs, and then within this one, we are going to allocate the price. For example, this price is $1,000. So, and if say we allocate it based on the standalone selling price, in the next step, we can read that one. So one operational contract, one RAR contract means within these two items, we do allocation, straightforward. No, we say that, okay, two contracts is equal to one RAR contract. It means we have to take the total amount of this operational contract and then split it against these POBs. So this has an impact whenever we allocate the transaction price. Otherwise, it doesn't matter to us. One operational contract, one RAR contract. If we multiple, we have to combine into our one revenue accounting contract. We can combine, but where it differs the way we allocate the transaction price. Assume this is $1,000. This is a 500. Actually, as we progress, right, I will put in notepad with examples and this is just very theoretical, but otherwise I'll put in notepad examples. It'll be easy. So this is $1,000 and this is $500. So within this one you allocate, maybe this will get 500, this will get 500, or this will get 800, this one. But if you add this also, maybe this allocation, the way we allocate can increase or decrease between these POBs. That's a matter here. Did you get this one? Identify the contracts.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Yashika. Very clear.
No? Okay. Identify separate performance. Okay. The why it says IFRS identify. Identify means performance is a level where standard is defined and price is allocated. It means that company should be able to sell this service separately. Like phone is an example. It should be able to sell only phone. No need to sell the data pack. That means there should be, each performance update should be identifiable. For example, there are some services like I just do installation. That's not a performance obligation, right? Because how do you install without even selling the phone? So selling phone itself is a standalone selling price. It's a identifiable POB. We should be able to identify. And that should have a SSP. What a standard SSP means, you should be able to sell it separately and that should contain some price. That's called as SSP, where price allocated and POC is determined. POC means it's a percentage of completion, fulfillment. What is saying simple, it should be the main item. Okay. It corresponds to the item of the operational contracts. So if you've seen the order, sales order, if in SAP, or you can see any legacy system, the moment they create contract, it's a contract XYG that will contain what customer is placing. Okay, one phone of model 1, one phone of model 2, one phone of model 3, data of maybe 100 GB data, 1000 GB data, postpaid, prepaid, lot of item. Each one of it item in the operational is equal to one POB. Simple. That way you can relate it. We can also combine several items. So several items means from sales bomb implicit customer right software upgrade. Maybe if they sell one item like as a pack and this software upgrade is free. So, but we have to segregate it separately. BOM is like you have idea about bill of material. It's a separate concept we can take. It's like it's one item, another there are bundle of items within that one. So anyway, for us, always remember whatever is the thing, we should recognize, we should be able to create separate POB, and that POB should have the amount. We should be able to allocate it. Even you combine several, we should split it that one. We cannot say that, okay, I have one bundle, I'm going to recognize the revenue for that bundle. I'll create one performance obligation for that bundle and recognize. No, IFRS doesn't accept. You may have one BOM, but we have to break down that like this. So we should break down. So operational contract, this one. So this is a basic, okay. Within that one, there are some concepts within the this one. What it says is, okay, I have a POB, smartphone pack. This is a main, okay. Customer has bought this pack. This is a main. So after 6 months, upgrade is there. Okay, so this is upgrade. So you will never sell upgrade, right? For example, so this, because of this one, this is there. That's why the main item will become leading, other one will be the linked. Okay, so this is the concept. We may have this kind of scenarios as well. Mostly this is mainly applicable in the telecom companies. If we go with the manufacturing or other industries, we may not have this kind of things unless we have. So we should never think that, okay, RAR means we have always like this. No, this is an example. We can have like this. So we may be hidden or updates to this one. Smartphone pack. Smartphone. So bill of material means it's like a one pack they are selling, but we have to recognize revenue for each of it. Okay. So finally we come back to the identify the POB. We have to create one separate performance obligation for smartphone. There should be money, a price, and battery charge a separate price. Okay. You may combine, but RAR doesn't like combining. You split it. That's our one. Okay, first we created contract, then performance obligation, and we need to determine the transaction price. So being RAR, so we always get this price from the upstream systems, from the source system. Source system can be sales order or BRIM, FICA, or directly some order-based platform systems. They will tell us what is the price. Okay, we always have the price. If there is no price, nothing in RAR. It's just that. It always we get this price. There should be price. That's it. We cannot get something with a blank. That doesn't, we cannot process anything in RAR. So it can be maintained without price. So just this, always remember that we have a price. This is a price which customer pays to the company. The moment they place an order, there will be price for it. They will pay price for this. That's it. They don't care what is happening in IFRS principle or this one. They pay directly some money, whatever the total amount. That's it. But within, we have to take this price, okay, and then we have to allocate it as per the IFRS. But finally, we should see that we recognize the revenue as the total amount of the transaction price. SSP is the base for us to split the amount of the transaction price. Because revenue is what customer pays to us. Revenue is not SSP. Whatever they are paying, that's our revenue, and that is what will go into the financial reporting. So many people, when they get confused, standalone selling price is a base. It's like it will help in splitting the transaction price. Okay. SSP can be anything. You can sell each service separately. When you combine, they will give you for very, very low price. But okay, this is a list price. When you take separately, it will come up. But Finally, your revenue is what is 500 here. It cannot be 600. Always we should balance it out. So this is something we don't have to do anything. SAP RAR engine will do all this automatically. We just have to understand how it does. Okay. Previous step, we have allocated price. Now we have to recognize. So when, what IFRS says, when you recognize revenue. So there are three main ways of recognizing revenue. Okay. First, in case you are selling the goods issue, then it's a day on which you are sold. Physically you handed over. That day you can recognize. And the smartphone pack data, that over a period of time. Okay, so why over a period of time? Because that is used by customers over a period of time. So month on month, at least minimum once a month we have to recognize over its period of time. Whenever a service starts, from that date onwards, we should start recognizing, not the date in which we have entered into agreement or we agreed to provide the service. No, when it started. Always remember, goods is very straightforward. Okay, we have delivery over. The day when it's delivered customer, that day we can recognize. But services, when we started, that is something operation system has to tell us. Okay, I'm going to start today. Start. Okay, from that date onward, you have to start. It's so over period of time is nothing but the time-based revenue. So if we are saying that, okay, we recognize revenue for the phone, physically we handed over, then that's called event-based revenue. Two major are there. Event-based means when event occurs, goods issue. Time-based, over time means it's a time-based recognize. As soon as you start services, we start recognizing. Or percentage completion, wherever time and event not applicable, these two are major, event or time. If time and is not applicable for those customer contracts, we recognize based on the percent of completion, because there won't be event. For example, there won't be event for IT projects, big implementation project. There won't be event or a time. Time can be 2 years or 3 years, but revenue is based on the completion of the each phase of the project. If that is a condition, then we have to recognize based on the POC. I think we completed these 5 steps. I want to take a pause and want to know if you have any questions. These are theoretical, at least concepts wise.
Hi, Ashika. Satish here. Am I audible?
Yeah. Yes,
Sorry.
it's audible.
Yes, sorry, I joined late for this meeting by 5 to 10 minutes. And I have a question. Are we planning to cover any of the enhancement parts or baddies where we can add our custom validations, for example, like FAR baddie RAI0 or FAR POB curve
Yes.
validate, where we will add the performance obligation validation checks, right? Are we planning to
Yes.
demonstrate those baddies and enhancements parts as part of this training?
So
Because I
we'll
aligned for the
take you
technical
to
side. Yeah.
we will take you to that one, but thing is that we have demo systems now. I will not be able to write the code and all, but I will tell you how we can use that bodies, when we can use that bodies. At least as a session, I can show you that.
All right.
How we can evoke which case we have to use which body. At least that I can share.
Yeah, because I align towards the technical side. I'm trying to understand the enhancements parts when we process on top of the vanilla implementation. Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Yes, we cover. But there will be some cases, some hypothetical or based on past experience, some scenarios will take and will tell that, okay, if this is a situation you get, you can use this body. But real ones is actually when you go to project, wherever standard is not working, definitely all these bodies are the only way to get solution.
Yes, that is to add our custom checks on top of the standard validations, right? Because definitely we might be in any
Yes, yes.
situation. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have both
Yes.
for order and invoices, both.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yashika, this is Vince. I have a question for you. We talked about a little bit about goods issue and proof of delivery. If we have instances where we sell a single piece of hardware, but sometimes that revenue pattern can be goods issue, or sometimes it could be proof of delivery. Is that something that we'll cover in the overall course in terms of how is the system able to distinguish, or what's the kind of defining characteristic that would say something is goods issue versus proof of delivery?
Yes, 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 we can cover that one in the session. Goods issue is a event. So what is that event we define in RAR? And then whenever sales order, we issue the goods, and that event, there is integration. That event comes as a fulfillment event into RAR. That's how it knows that, okay, I got this event, now I can recognize revenue. So I can show you one case, how that events are recognized by RAR.
Okay, and then for proof of delivery, how does the system distinguish between if it's good issues or proof of delivery as the event type?
We have a configuration there so that we can see that one, proof of delivery. Whenever proof of delivery is a date, right? So I can show you in the system. Okay.
Okay.
Goods issue and proof of delivery.
Okay.
I can take you with that one. Yep. I can go to next slide.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so sales integration of operational and billing applications. So from RAR is itself is on its own, it's just accounting module. So it has to receive the order data from sales and distribution module, SAP service, BRIM. This is a CRM, old CRM customer. That's one. And then SAP BRIM, this is the latest, and non-SAP. That means if client is not using SAP as an order platform system, directly we can create RISE into RAR. There's a direct integration is also possible. Okay, this also many companies use this one wherever they are not using these modules. So finally we say that, okay, whichever way we get it, we have to get the way IFRS is as per the IFRS standard. That's it. And SAP has given architecture, and everything should come and fit within that architecture. So sales and flexible rule framework, proof of account assignment, proof of delivery. Okay, this is just I have one more big architecture diagram I can show you in the next sessions. So it is not like this. After, see, one sales order is created, how does it flow? There is an integration configuration we do on SAP, say that, okay, I integrate with RAR. Then we from this side, we come here, RAR contract, we say that, okay, from this source I'm getting data, this is my rule. We define here, and then integration happens standard way. And then the moment we create orders, it comes and creates a RAI contract. Same is with here, same is BRIM as well. There is one additional step here. Billing and revenue accounting is mainly for the this is SAP is for the wherever subscription based orders are there, subscription based industry. So utility based, if I count all the utility based industries use this BRIM. There also we have a create a provider order contract. From that contract, we have a integration where we say that, okay, this is my service and this is relevant to RAR. That, and here also we indicate this is my system provider contract. That's how we link that one. So in the system, and whenever you create subscription order, automatically revenue accounting contract RISE will be created. Okay, so automatically this happens. Assume that we don't have any of this. Then third party system. So via interface, we have to proxy programs are there. We have to directly source system will create, and whatever data they send, they will map it to the SAP fields. And then once it maps, automatically we have this what do you say? We have API, and then create BAPIs are there, standard BAPIs. So it means that how SAP creates automatically the same format, we can feed the data directly into the RAR and create RAR contracts. Directly also we can create this one. Okay, so earlier, as we told in the beginning of the session, earlier, if companies are using SAP in the legacy, they were recognizing the revenue as per the SD-based revenue recognition. The SD-based revenue recognition means it's order-based recognition. So now, the moment we activate RAR, its order-based systems are decoupled. So still we use that one. We create sales order, issue, delivery, billing, account receivable. Okay, that line which goes. But if it is integrated into RAR, then we get this one. Okay, so if we are using operational system, and if you want to use RAR, you activate it. If you don't want RAR, you can still leave it. So it's not compulsory that I need to use RAR. No, it's a decoupled. Okay, so system. And default, this standard process operation billing account receivable. So you might be knowing that one. So we don't create any accounts receivables. Okay, so order platform will create order, they deliver the goods issue, and then we get these events into RAR, we recognize billing, invoicing happens, we can, but this part is something is never comes to RAR. This is accounts receivable. That accounts receivable is posted within the SD or BRIM or FICA, wherever it is, but not to RAR. Whatever we are saying RAR, accounts receivable will go to general ledger, this one, but it doesn't come to RAR. You might have a question. Accounts receivables is a open item from customer. Customer will make a payment, bank payments, right? After accounts receivable, there will be bank payments. So that entire this setup is not relevant to RAR. What happens whether customer pays really money or not, really they transfer or not, that's not part of that one. If they don't pay at the end of after some years, okay, then finally there is a asset impairment they do. So revenue, whatever we recognize, we have to reverse it. But till then, at least every month to recognize revenue, we never go into any payments. That's why, so this is not relevant for our discussion, okay? Till revenue billing happens, invoicing, we get into RAR. How it posts to account receivable, that's not our thing. Okay, it posts, clear payment, clearing happens, although they're not relevant to RAR. Continuing stream. Management reporting. So revenue accounting, this I already explained. Control, revenue accounting, fulfillment. So finally, order system also, it goes to the GL. Revenue accounting also goes to GL. So you might have a question here. Here also we create customer and the P&L accounts. We also post here. SD-based revenue is still happening here, but we are not saying revenue. We just post still to the profit and loss accounts here. but we also post to the accounting here. We also post to accounting here. What happens to 2 accounts? That's the question here. But whatever accounting we are doing here, at least for the profit and loss, we are always reverse here. That's the reason for bringing the invoicing here. So it's, you can understand, right? Here there is an arrow goes. Here also we are doing accounting. Here also we are doing accounting, but there will be duplicate. Whatever we are doing here, we are going to bring over here only the profit and loss one. That we say that, okay, I'm RAR, IFRS, I'm recognizing, just have to reverse it out. So that's how we will knock off this profit and loss impact here. Okay. Okay, this is a standard architecture. So sales order item 1, adapt to reuse layer. Okay, this is a RAR architecture. If you see here, how does it looks inside the S4 in the RAR. So as soon as you create sales order, revenue, they adapt to reuse layer. It's a layer in which we create the revenue accounting items. So one item is one item here. Item 2 here. So we create whatever you see in sales order, it replicates in the form of the revenue accounting items here. And so this is a ARL layer. It creates the accounting items. That means at this stage, we have not created RA contract. We have not created POB. Just that we brought it over a copy of the RISE into adapt to reuse layer. So there is a lot of configuration happens here. We, as I told you, inbound processing and revenue accounting class setup, and even we have a BRF plus rule here, how revenue accounting should be created. So all those rules will be there, and based on that one we create the RAI. So if we have sales order, subscription order, and from FICA if we have invoices. What about if we don't have any of this? Many of the cases, some clients won't have any of this. Okay, if you don't have it, you send it by PIPO. You all might be knowing, right? Via PIPO interface, there is a SAP has given a API. So via API, you push the data into this one, and directly they come and create the revenue accounting items. So once they create items, we process that items. Each of the item will become one POB default. Okay, unless we have the bomb header structure where you still have POBs, but all will come under one header bundle. So otherwise, we always have this one item equal to one POB. So once you process, there is a step to process. Then it creates a revenue accounting contract and the POBs. Once it creates here, so we just created, that's it. Okay, we have not posted any accounting. So once you create RA contract, it's called as a contract management. So we run revenue recognition steps periodically. So when we run that steps, this based on the POB event types. Okay, if we have the goods issue as event, it look for it. Okay, once you create it. Okay, as soon as you create performance application, you can never recognize revenue. As Vince was asking, for events like goods issue, whenever goods issue happens, we run the one transaction VL01 in SD. As soon as you run that goods issue, there is an event, and we also define the event here, and it will carry that event and will create one more RAI called as a fulfillment RAI. That will come and attach to this same POB1. It brings that attribute called proof of delivery happened, that there's a marks, X mark happens. Okay, you created initial POB, but you are not delivered. once you actually do proof of delivery, SAP standard has given you, okay, proof of delivery means one value will go and say to the, it will update here. Okay, I will show you that one is this. It will update, okay, the moment performance obligation says fulfilled X proof of delivery, that's it. We can recognize the revenue. Till that one in the stage, as soon as order is created, revenue is created, POBs are created, but it doesn't recognize the revenue until unless event is coming. So, and again, event is like a fulfillment event. So we get fulfillment revenue accounting item, it go and update the POB. And we will, when invoice is issued here, again we go and update the POB. Okay, now I got invoice, reverse it. Okay, so remember that one. There are three main. One is order items, one is fulfillment items, one is invoice correction items. But so order item is the one initially it creates the POBs. Always revenue is recognized on the order items. Okay, we often use these terms as we check in as we work in the system. As I give a demo. So same POB we get update for the fulfillment. Same POB when invoice correction. The same POB if there is a cancellation, we go customer decide to cancel. We also cancel this. Customer decides that okay, I something maybe price got revised after some time. Then they'll send the updated price. We go and update the same POB. It's called as the modifications. Whole life cycle. Until unless customer completely cancels, this is always active in the system. Okay, assume that in normal case we delivered it and we got fulfilled and then we recognize the revenue and the contract will get closed. Not as soon as also as after creating fulfillment, if you, and next step is get the invoice and then contract will get closed. That's it. Invoice management, fulfillment, and at the end, monthly at least once we run the FIGL postings. At the end, the accrual run. So you may have questions. Okay, I created the sales order on 30th, 29th of the month. I have not fulfilled it. I have not done the invoicing to the customer. Still okay. In that case, you have not fulfilled, there nothing will post here. Okay, second step is okay, I fulfilled, but I have not issued invoice to customer because invoice is issued based on the terms of invoicing whenever it's due for invoicing. So in that case, okay, you recognize the revenue, but you don't have the invoice management here. This step is complete because you are not issued invoice. At that time, we have post like a contract asset liability or unbilled sales order deferred revenue. We have those concepts. Any one of these leg is not there, we end up recognizing the contract asset liability. If we get fulfillment, we also do invoicing and then automatically we post this everything to FIGL. All this also we post FI, this also we post. Okay. Finally, contract will get closed. Nothing is open. If any of this is not there, then its contract will be open. And then accrual run. Posting accrual run is nothing but posting to the FIGL. After FIGL, it will go to AC DOCA. And then if COPA is active, revenue from here will also go to the profitability analysis. If that module is active, automatically it goes. Adaptive reuse layer. Oh, sorry. Adaptive reuse architecture, operational integration component. So what is there in the ARL? So ARL is a starting layer before we create the contract. This is it's like a gate, we can assume. So it's from source system. When we receive, how do we receive when and how do we process it? Everything is there here. So here we create the RAR class configuration and what is RAR class content? So in the previous slide, we have seen here, right? We are saying here there is an order class. Actually, this doesn't, okay. We always have order, fulfillment, and the invoices. 3 will be there. Okay. I think where this is there here. Anyway, the subsequent slide I'll show you. This is order. As soon as we create order item. So if we are saying order item, right? Next step, each order item will be stored in the order class. The class for the order is different, class for the fulfillment is different, class for the invoice is different. So RAR class means based on the category status of the RAR, each separate class is created. SAP standard gives us standard classes. Okay, if we want, we can also do the customizing class. So we all be knowing, right? Whatever is sent here, the receive revenue items, they will be stored in these classes. Each class will contain the 2 tables. One is main item table, one is a condition item table. It's okay, and this class we have to generate it. This is a standard SAP step. So generation means it making it active in the system. And in real based project, we have to configure this in our development system and move it via TR. And generation, every system we have to do it. Okay, this doesn't ask for TR. Whichever is asking for transport, we have to do in dev. This is just directly we can do it. And then BRF rule. So I want to hold on here. So SAP standard gives the standard set of fields. For example, whatever they are using. And you want to have some special fields, like I want to capture Apple phone with special model number. Okay, model number is as a field is not in SAP is here. Then you want to capture means you need to create it and you have to add, you can add the fields here in the RAR class and then generate it. That's what we can do it. We can add n number of fields, 50 fields, 100 custom fields. We can always add n number of custom fields here and capture that information. Okay, this is one of the important configuration. And then this is in the ARL. And I can show you in the system as well. If you do it probably after, since it's a demo class, right? So we have some more slides to complete, but otherwise I can show you in system. Okay, it's a very simple configuration. BRF plus. So BRF plus is ARL, contains one application called as a this application is called only at the ARL. Why it's called as ARL? It will map the each sales order item to the each RAR item based on the BRF plus rule. So for example, phone is there. I call phone as a performance obligation 1, and smartphone data is a pack. I call it as a data pack 2. So we are saying that one, but how do we maintain that in S4HANA? It's inside this one. Here we say the rules. If sales order item, if in SD we call it as a phone, I am also calling it as a phone here. We have to tell that system. If we call it a smartphone pack, we also maintain here as a pack. You source and we have to maintain 1:1 rules inside here, like in a table format. Then automatically when RISE are coming, it will check these rules. If POB is there and it's in the proper format, then it will create the RISE and this and then it will store in these classes. Okay, this is that important. This is, if we don't do anything here, then area doesn't know how do I create. which RAI, the moment you create RAI, it will also check what type of POB it is. Remember that the moment we create RAIs here, it doesn't create POB unless you process it. But at time of creation itself, it need to know the rules. If there are any errors, it will stop there itself. Okay, if assume everything is correct, that's our standard, like good case, then it will go and we process it. So once you process, it creates the revenue accounting contracts. If you want to combine the contracts, we can combine. Okay, all that is possible within the RAR. RAI configuration, RAI BRF plus content. Okay, so remember always, what is a POB? Definition of POB is defined here. We can create POBs, but what is that POB? So that is maintained BRF plus. Let's start some additional scenarios we have. Straightforward, one sole sales source item equal to 1 POB. If we want to combine multiple contracts, we can always combine. Okay, once we create this one, this all happens in the ARL. ARL means just blindly remember that POB definitions and what is there is application specifically. We have to define what is POB, what is a header, what is the company code, what is a class, where do I store, what is the sender component. This is SD, this is the one. We have to map everything here. It's an initial gate. So okay, once we process this, it goes to the next step called engine. So when we, okay, and let's talk about that engine here. So till the point here we process the RISE, it's called ARL. Once we process and create revenue accounting contracts and POBs, then it contra the contract management. Then it will go into the engine. Till then engine doesn't come. So engine is nothing but it will allocate the price as per the SSP and it will recognize the revenue based on the fulfillment events. All those called as the engine we call. This is straightforward. We are bringing information here. Then in the engine we do the calculations. Adaptive is nothing but it's a replica of the operational items as I told already. So business rule framework. Item is distinct or not. We have to, I told inside BRF plus, we define what is POB, whether it's a distinct POB or not. Always for distinct POB only we recognize the revenue. If it is linked, and there are some special cases where we use this linked or not. But when you're learning, default is all the distinct POBs are the one which we, in general, all POBs are distinct and this. In case we have any linked or implicit POB, then we can configure that attribute. We can see that one, what is that linked and how we can process that in RAR. Okay. For that POB, we can maintain the SSP. Remember, we can maintain that SSP prices inside the BRF plus. Okay. So whenever we transaction price is coming from source, automatically it will check for standalone selling price and it will allocate the price. And then special right of return. If we have any right of return, then so that portion of revenue will be hold till that point. The special clauses. Okay. So once BRF plus rules are determined, we create everything is successful, then we create the POB and the contract as I was explaining before itself, right? If there are no errors, system is able to find POB, determine correct POB, determine correct SSP, then everything is perfect, then it will process, create the RAR contract POB. It happens in a 1 step or 2 steps, okay? It happens everything in the background. So it creates RAR contract. Remember what is RAR contract? It represents the operational contract. Item POBs, it represents the operational items. Engine. So here we have seen that one. created the POBs, everything. Okay. Next what happens? We wait for the fulfillment event. So fulfillment in case of physical issue of goods, what is that event? That means we get in the form of RISE. And it updates the array contract. And the invoicing events. Remember why we bring invoice? To reverse that in RAR. We call it the invoice correction. So subsequent events will come and update the same POB here. Because this is what we need to update. So updating everything happens inside this revenue accounting engine. Okay. So then it will check, okay, fulfillment event came, then I will recognize revenue. Invoice event came, then I will let me reverse that invoice related revenue. Okay. And remember, always IFRS engine calculates revenue. That is your final revenue. Whatever you post in the SD or FICA, that we are reversing here. That's why we bring the invoice events. So all these updation happen inside this engine. That's how it looks like. Contract management process, invoice management, fulfillment. Okay. Initially we create POB, but later whatever follow-on steps we do, it updates will be inside this engine. So once we have this one, we post data. Again, it will go to the main AC Docker. Once, or as soon as we posting management, reconciliation, accrual run. This is all month-end steps. We call it the ABC, month-end steps. It goes. Then further from here, so nowadays we call it as a SAC. You might be knowing, right? BW's SAC is nothing but cloud analytic report. So if you don't know, but I've seen some clients using it. So cloud analytics report means from here, as this and all will store in some tables, right? All this data is sent into the BW warehouse, and they can do the provisioning. It means that, so we assume that one, we created the RAR contract, but service is going to start in future. This month only one day we recognize it. 30th we started service. Assume that when Feb 28 you started service, and it goes on till the December 31st, 2025. To get the visibility, what is the revenue for remaining amount of the period? Provisioning, right? Our companies want to see, okay, you created today, 28th February, until maybe 28th February 2006 revenue, service end on 28th February 2076. Then companies want to know the breakup of every month. That's the future, right? So future data we never post here, because we are not reached there. We are not in the March, we are not in the April, we are not in 2026. So since we are not there here, this data there is a one deferral item table. From that, the companies can see that one future provisions, forecasting they can do, and a lot of things they do it. Once you post, always posted data revenue is your recognized, is your future revenue. Sorry, it's your recognized revenue. Okay, it's posted. If you are not posted, we can always do this kind of reports. Data access, analytical engine, data provision. From here also engine legal reporting happens. Here also it happens. If you post it, this is the final. There are some items maybe you are not posted for one or other reason, so we need to make the provision for that one. Okay, so always we get into mind that, okay, I posted revenue, this is my final. No, there are cases you have not posted it. Maybe some errors are there, something is there, but still we need to report it as per IFRS. In that case, directly data is integrated from here to here, and it goes here. Deployment, revenue accounting component. So this is S4HANA, automatically it comes, okay? So any S4HANA, this module is available. It's not that we have to buy separately. Deployment options. Okay, deployment option, run the integration separate in. So we can use S4HANA only RAR, or we can use if there is a BRIM. Along with BRIM, R also work. That means order system and the revenue accounting system can be in same system, can be in multiple systems. Via RFC, it gets assumed that one BRIM is in separate system, RAR is hosted within the company in the separate instance. Both are integrated via RFCs. It means that the moment they create order, automatically here also we will get those revenue accounting items. So within S4HANA, yes, separate systems. If we are using only RAR and BRIM is there or SD is there, is not there in S4HANA, assume that for a moment, then also we can get. Okay, so this is some additional points. Actually, some companies use the SD and the BRIM and the revenue accounting in the same instance. It means same client, same thing. Some companies want to keep the ordering system separate from the revenue accounting. So in that case, via RFC, they are connected. This is even standard. Okay, with this S4HANA, these are apps, Fury apps. So very interesting Fury apps SAP has given. So what is the recognized revenue every month based on customer region? However, users want to view that performance of the company or revenue, they can view this one via bar charts, flow charts. So we can see all these in Fury apps. We have a Fury apps for creating the contract, running that engine flow, posting, as well as report. Fury apps, they're there even for the configuration. We have Fury apps for every activity. Okay? We have Fury apps for every activity. So what are the benefits of using S4HANA RAR? So it will automate. So if you ask me what's the one thing which RAR does, it's not creating revenue accounting items. It's the engine flow, right? It's recognizing revenue automatically when it checks that, okay, fulfillment happened. It's automating that way. And it will calculate the time-based revenue based on the start and end dates. So in that month. So automatically it will look for the start and end dates. Okay, this month, February, till February, what is the revenue? It does automatically. It's simplifying your thing. Assume that when SAP S4HANA is not there, users would end up taking everything into Excel sheet and they have to calculate it. Every order they have to issue, recognize it in a different time. That's fine. At least time-based is really painful. Every order is created, every service order is created at different time. At different time it ends. It's a mad work. We cannot imagine doing that in Excel sheet. SAP automatically it automates it. This is a main core function of this one. Okay. Journal entry creation, of course, this is the end result. But this is the main revenue accounting engine. Asset compliance. So this will actually SAP RAR will comply as per the IFRS standard. So I want to just add on point. So we are talking about IFRS standard. RR, but we can also use RAR for the local accounting if they have anything. So, for example, if some companies want to use RAR not only for IFRS, yes, minimum IFRS, but they also want to use for local accounting gap. That can also they can activate and use. So, and this will accelerate period. What is period closing? Minimum monthly ones. We have to recognize revenue and we have to post the journal entries. Minimum monthly ones. That's the thing. If not monthly, at least quarterly. Worst case, minimum year. We cannot say that I will do it once in 5 years. No. Standard is okay, monthly ones, this one. Okay, this is all based on the company. What is best they will decide. So we have to remember it will automate revenue recognition and posting. It will simplify and it will also give the IFRS related reports. Their standard reports. This is the content. Hope we are covering all the content here in a detailed sessions. Understand integration with external system. Creating manual contract combination. Creating cost recognition. Yes. In the previous slides, cost recognition is not mentioned about it, but we can also recognize the cost in line with revenue. That's also possible in SAP RAR. So that's also we can see. We can how to recognize the cost. Understanding right of return, freeze and freeze. Fulfillment of post invoices. Okay. These are all the relevant topics which we'll cover in detail. You see anything is missing? I think it's covered pretty very much everything.
Hi, Ashika. If possible, can we add the customization area, the enhancements part, just to touch it?
Yes, yes, I was about to come to that. It's there in my mind. So this is not, I cannot, I'll add this one.
All right. Thank you.
Naveen, you want to add this one if you are there? Configuration.
I'll add again. Okay. As of now, you can add by your end, or else you can just put me in the WhatsApp. Yashika,
Okay,
I'll
fine.
get it done. Okay.
Okay, fine. Revenue postings. Handling foreign currency. So all these topics we will understand and we will see in system how to create the test data and understand that one. Okay, so migration. Oh, this is the configuration. It's already there here. Yes, so if we BRF plus integration with BRIM. So activate, define service. This is but it's only covers the integration. But RAR has a special configuration that we need to see.
Okay, and we've scoped BRIM out from the modules that we're using. So for something like that, where we know that we just won't be using BRIM, would we have the ability to maybe switch out a different topic, or it seems like that one's at the end, so maybe that's one that we could discuss in terms of covering something else.
Sorry, I didn't follow what you're saying. So we can skip this part you were saying, integration.
Yeah, because we're not using BRIM. We scoped that out in the earlier phases, and we don't plan to use BRIM in the future. I'm just wondering if that can be a course that we repurpose for something else.
Okay, we can put integration with OSD. I can
Yeah,
Instead of
that'd be great.
RAR integration bit, we can use the SD based revenue recognition.
That's perfect. Okay.
Yeah, so is it okay with others? Maybe if we want this BREAM integration separately, we can take it up if others want to know, but we will not use BREAM as a main discussion point, right? That's what
Yes.
is saying.
Yes.
Of course, we can learn
Yeah,
RAR using either we can learn with BREAM, we can learn with SD, we can learn directly posting, but concept remains same. But when you learn with BREAM, some little extra steps are there. So
Okay.
there is a difference because BREAM is completely subscription based. SD is overall is general order system, order module. Yeah, so RAR configuration is missing. I will add this one. So this is what it is. Any questions you have? Anything is missing? So
Is that
yeah,
baddies also, right? Business add-ins, enhancements.
Yeah.
Also. Yeah.
yes.
Please
I've
do
noted
and
this.
add that as well. Yeah. Thank you.
Body enhancements, RAR configuration, and we will discuss all the concepts based on the SD integration with the RAR. And then if anybody is interested at the end, time permits, I will show you like how BRIM can be integrated into RAR, like how that data flows, but at least, yeah, I can show you that as well, but the end, not now. Yeah. Any more questions?
Sounds good, Yashika. This was a really good demo. Thank you so much for taking the time. And I'm in touch with Naveen for the process and the duration of the course and the schedule. We'll get back to you.
Okay. Others? Any questions?
No, this
Yes,
is
each one of it is a different concept. Yeah.
this was great, Yashika. Really, really excited. Actually, this covers a lot of different topics that I've been interested in. Also, I would say the quicker we get details of the course and the costs and the timing, the better for us because we're gonna fire off some emails to our leadership team to get approvals.
I think Naveen will take that. Yeah, Naveen, this is question for you.
In 1 hour, we'll update you all the details. Okay, in 1 hour, by tomorrow morning. Okay, your evening. Okay, we'll try to give you all the details, schedule, all the things. Okay.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay,
Thank you,
mostly
Naveen.
has discussed. Okay, we'll try to start from Monday itself. Okay.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Yashika. Thanks for the good demo. Yeah, thank you. Thanks everyone.
You
Thanks
all.
for attending
Thank
the
you
demo.
all.
Yeah, thank you.